Rob Austin Racing Owners Club question and answer session with the man himself. Firstly, we'll have a little chat through today. You might not want to, but let's talk about free practice to start with. That seems to go quite well for you.
Yeah, free practices run well, and we were making small changes to the car. It all felt good. Quali just wasn't fast. The car felt good. Felt like I did a decent job. The time just never came. So at least, well, as Simon says, at least we're consistent with our Saturday performance. So once again, we've got some work to do tomorrow, but it's all good fun, isn't it?
You say it never quite came together. Can you just give us a bit more insight into that? Was it something with the car? Was it something with you? Was it something with the track? What actually was the problem, as far as you know so far?
I'm going to blame the driver. I think like with old race horses, when they get slow, they sell them for glue, don't they? I think that's the solution. Get a new one.
You're saying you're ready for the knackers yard? I think we get Simon over here when he's stopped trying to fill himself with beer and cake. Come over here, son. Just to have your views on what's happened so far today.
Yeah, I said to Rob, at least we're consistent, but no, I just get so fed up with us standing here and making excuses. But we had an alternator going for free practice 1, we had brakes stick on because the master cylinder failed in free practice 2, so we keep losing track time, and tomorrow will be fine. Rob has raced brilliantly on Sunday. We get into the top 10 very quickly and normally end up with a couple of solid results, but his ideal time, had he hooked all 3 sectors that he did quick up on the same lap, it's not ideal, is it? But his ideal was P10. So, and that's where we're aiming for. Top 10 we've been quite happy with. So, had it all come on the right lap, then it'd been really good. But I think if you look down the times, it's quite a long track, Oulton Park, and the top 21 cars, is it, within a second of each other? So
29.
Oh, hang on.
28 within 1.5 seconds.
So let's all go out tomorrow. This is trade secrets in here. But no, it's come on, Louise. Now we've really got somebody famous coming in here. Yeah, it's not all about big round of applause. So, this is our excuse session.
No, I'm fine. Just came to give Rob a hard time, actually.
Oh, there you go. This is called the excuse session.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, every Saturday we seem to do absolutely rubbish, and then we have to make up for it on Sunday. So, but there you go.
So, what's today's excuse then, Rob?
We need a new driver. I was just suggesting that the driver was sold off for glue. I think that's the solution. Get a new one.
Is that it? Is that the only excuse you can think of?
I think that's about as good as I can do. Yeah. See, I'm all falling to pieces now because I'm just not used to you interviewing me.
And what's the reason for that, Rob?
Because we need a new driver.
Because you need to get your ass back up that grid, doesn't he? Yeah. I'll slope off at this moment.
Thanks very much, Lou. Hopefully that'll improve your media rating next time on Rob's Facebook page. Oops. Wasn't supposed to mention that, was I, Rob? But yes, we'll talk a little bit about tomorrow. Obviously, today is today, and as you say, you've been rubbish, basically. Tomorrow, looking at the grid, it's quite mixed up, actually, isn't it? I don't know if you've had a chance to look through the times. You've got people like Dan Lloyd on the front row. How are you going to stay out of the way in lap 1 of race 1?
I don't normally stay out of the way. I normally get stuck in. Just plough through it all. That's the plan. Jeff Smith. So there'll be a shunt around P13 where Jeff is. Oh, he's likely to get a good start. He's very, very close to Hunter. So the unluckiest man in the world with the most dangerous man in the world right behind him. So that doesn't bode well. So that could be a couple of places. Right. So yeah, basically this is my plan. Hope they all fall off.
It's happened before in the BTCC. It's not an outrageous plan. Just talking a little bit about the circuit. Excuse me. It's not the easiest place in the world to overtake at Oulton Park, is it?
No, this shorter layout is more suited to it. It gives you the hairpin. If you can get a good run out of Cascades, you can get alongside. Even if you can get to the outside, you can get a run on the inside. If you get up the inside, you can do a bit of a block pass. So it does create some overtaking, certainly around the outside of Cascades on the inside here, so you can see up into the hairpin, and the run out of the hairpin and into Nickbrook would be the place to watch, because I think that's where pretty much all the action is going to happen. But yeah, so there are opportunities. Obviously the longer circuit didn't work out for us. That was where we really had no overtaking, so we've come back to this one, and yeah, I just need to be really good on the brakes into that hairpin.
Everybody does say, all the drivers say that this is one of their favourite tracks because of the undulation and the nature of the circuit. Where does it rate for you in terms of your favourites?
Rapidly descending. It's, yeah. No, I really like this circuit. I won my first ever race here 19 years ago, which made me the youngest ever winner of a motorcar race at the time. And I've been here a lot of times since. I've had many podiums here, and we even managed to get Sherman on the podium here a couple of years ago. So yeah, really like the place. It was a very strange qualifying. The car felt good. I felt like I'd done a decent job and got on the radio. How was that? This was after the first tyre run, B16. I don't know where more time is, which is unusual in that situation. You know, so far this year, there's been a mistake somewhere along the lines. Okay, I know where that time is. The potential is there. This time I'm not so sure. So the boys are trawling through the data. Certainly the second set of tyres didn't manage to hook up quite right. There is another 2 to 3 tenths in me, and we've got to find a chunk out of the car as well. Hopefully we find both and move forward tomorrow.
It is remarkable, actually, looking at the lap times. It is hugely close around this circuit. That shows that, you know, rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, you know, cars with boots, hatchbacks, it's the same for everybody. It's just hugely competitive, isn't it?
Yeah, it is hugely competitive. Obviously, BMR went cap in hand to Mr. Gow and asked for mill boost and got it.
Sandbagging in the FB1.
You won't believe this, but I've just come out of the Toka awning before I came here. BMR have been back into the Toka tent asking for more boost. And Mr. Gow's like, I'm going to give the car on pole more boost? Are you mad? So that won't be happening for tomorrow, but obviously they have had an increase. Have you followed any of their cars? What do the chassis look like when you're behind them?
I haven't been that close to them. There doesn't seem a lot in it. They do have good straight line. Mega traction out that hairpin, but no, they're just another car. They're nothing. They're not struggling in a straight line. I'm sure that's the next story that you'll be writing about. Plato saying he's not got enough power and so on, but yeah, they're not struggling.
I must admit, Plato has given me one of the best excuses for not getting pole I've ever heard today, in that he was told to sort of speed up in section 1 because that's where he was losing some time. He did that and went purple in the first sector, I'm just coming down to the braking point for the chicane, and the engineer got on the radio to him and started shouting, "Well done for the first sector," and distracted him, so he missed his apex at the chicane, which is why Colin Turkington beat him to pole, of course. Clearly, that is absolutely the true story. So obviously, yeah, tomorrow at 3 races, are you going to tell us when you're going to use the soft tyres and what the plan is?
Yeah, we're going for the 3rd race. Just because, although you can overtake here, there is only that one overtaking spot, and it is harder than a lot of other circuits due to the undulations and the fact it's quite narrow. So, yeah, I think most people will go for race 3 here tomorrow, as we have.
Okay, has anybody got any questions? We've only got one microphone, so if you want to ask a question of Rob or Richard or even Simon when he stopped trying to chat up Lou, then we'll ask a question. So, or if Lou's got a question, wants to put a hand up, we'll get it answered. Or if anybody wants to ask Louise a question, indeed, put your hand up and shout your question out loud. So, anyone got any questions? Yeah.
Yeah. What are Sherman and Panzer doing now?
What are Sherman and Panzer doing now? What are Sherman and Panzer doing now?
Resting.
They're resting. They're just waiting for the next opportunity, which we don't know when that's going to be yet, or what it's going to be. But yeah, it is a bit of a shame. They just sat there in the workshop, not doing much.
You sort of polish them and dust them every now and again, and sort of look at them and just leave them there.
Yeah, I just go and sit in it and make car noises and pretend I'm going fast.
Sad thing is, I really believe that to be true. Well, it's not actually a lie, is it? Anybody else got any questions for Rob or Lou or Simon or Richard? Anybody got any questions? Ah, yes. Where are we going? Yes. What's your name, sir? What's your question? Well, the question was, since Rob's driven a few different types of car now, although they're all standardised chassis, how different are they to drive? So.
Well, I've only driven the 2, and it's hard for me to compare because during my change from the 2 cars, there's a whole new suspension package as well. So the Toyota feels a lot better. Which I think it is, but it also has better suspension now as well. Whereas if we'd put the better suspension on the Audi, it would have felt better as well. But no, the Toyota is a much more suited car to the rules in the championship, and I think ultimately has more potential to challenge the front than we had with the Audis.
Okay, yeah, any other questions? Yes, young man. What's the favourite car that he's driven? Alright, here we go.
It's easy. It's easy. It's Sherman.
I've got a question.
Yes, Simon, what's your question?
Why the Subaru suddenly at the front of the grid?
We have covered that. We have just covered that. You were chatting up Lou at the time. You didn't hear. Yeah, we went through that one. Rob would like a beer, please, if that's possible. Team Patrol. Actually, I'll have another one as well.
Why have the Subarus got boost? Why haven't you got any, or have you got some?
I'm letting him answer this. I'm stepping out of this. Why have the Subarus got boost and why hasn't Rob got any?
It's a slightly unfortunate thing, really.
Because that's cheating, isn't it?
Well, you look at. Thanks. If you look at when we were trying to develop our own engine, we were struggling. We changed all sorts of stuff. Several engine builders, we just could not find any more out of that base engine. Same with Welshie. In the last 2 years, he's really struggled. Basically, Subaru have exactly the same problem that both of us had, and yeah, if we could have just been given more boost, it'd be a lot easier. But I don't know why they allow that, and I think it devalues their whole project really if they can just skip the development phase and just have more boost.
It is
I think it's a really shame.
Wind changed, didn't he? When Honda had boost, this, that, and the other, and it's just, I think it's just.
We don't get involved in the political game, but unfortunately there is an element of that. What do you think, Matt?
I think it'll all be in motorsport news in an issue very, very shortly. No, Alan Gowie runs British Touring Cars and his technical team. They say that they do look at the figures after every round. They look at speed traps. They do a head flow test at the start of the year to see how efficient the engine is, and they look at overall lap times. And the Welsh, can we park the Welsh situation just now? I don't want to go into that in public, but so Mr. Gowie says we don't just stick our finger in the air and give them a certain amount of boost. It's actually done on data, which they review after every 6 races, 9 races, something like that. So he does say there is a formula behind it, but you're right, drivers do moan and whinge when they don't have enough.
It's totally unequal.
Unequal racing, well, you know, when you've got 19 cars within a second of each other, it's pretty hard to say it's that unequal. I think if Subaru got more boost for tomorrow, which is what they're after, and they were a second a lap quicker than anybody else, then you could say it is. But I think at the moment, it's just about right. There's always going to be someone whinging louder than someone else. And that's Rob needs to whinge more, or Richard.
Well, my personal take on it is that in that FP1, Plato was 24th, and he was behind Warren and Cole, and Colin had obviously driven the wheels off it, and he was 10th, and he was up in the mix, and it was close. He could have gone quicker perhaps. So they go to Alan Gow and say, look, this because they got a new manifold, they've reduced their boost, and it's all to do with the airflow. So they whinged and whinged and whinged, and then they got the boost back that they had taken away from them. And lo and behold, Plato goes massively quicker. Not just the boost bit quicker, but load quicker, didn't he? Well, that's my view on it. I might be slightly jaundiced. I definitely am. But what do you think, Matt?
You're not alone on that.
Well, it's hard to pick through it all because there's 7 different strands to it, and people whinging and complaining doesn't help the drivers themselves, doesn't help their own image. But it's a tough one. But can we move on from the boost situation? Anyone got any other questions? Any other questions? Oh yeah, we've got one over there. Yes, sir.
So, Tom Ingram was P4 qualifying, so was he?
He was.
So, was there any sort of setup sharing between you and Tom today?
Any setup sharing between you and Tom Ingram today?
Yes, and we have his data, and we're going to be going through it to find out why and how. So, there's certainly it's so fractional at each corner. So, we'll find out. But yeah, we have his setup information, and we have his data, so we'll be going through it.
When you say going through the data, what sort of process? You look at each trace sort of lap by lap and try and work out where you can make the gains, or how does it work?
Obviously, you find the sections where the most time is. There's several differences between the car, diff, master cylinders, various things. And you've got to figure out what's better, what's worse. Look at the suspension travel, brake pressures, all sorts of stuff. Every detail to find out why it is, and obviously driving is part of it as well. We've not been had any problem until after media day for some reason, so we need to figure it out what's going on.
I'd like to join the excuse sector. It's absolutely true to say that if Rob had put his sectors together, he would have been 10th in qualifying, and I know he's very deep, I'm not quite sure what the word is, but it feels like he's let everybody down, but it's so close, so tough, and I think the transition to front wheel drive is pretty tough, so we've got to just get behind him, and I know he always does well in the races. We just need to get over this Saturday bug, and we never seem to get the clear 2 free practice sessions. We had a brake problem, and You know, just doesn't seem to go our way. But there you go. Anyway, I know that one or two of you, it may be more, have been in touch with Nancy and asked for some of the charity things, Henry's Hot Sauce. And I'm going to put, they're only £3 for the hot sauce. I've got some of the smoky chipotle lime and also some of the other ones and some jam, £3 a bottle. I'm going to put £3 in for this one, and I'm going to present the hot sauce to what must be the hottest person here, Jasper the Fox. How he sits in that thing in this weather, I haven't got a bleeding clue. So this is, I'm buying this one personally for you. All the proceeds go to the charity which helps people in Guatemala. So I will hand that to him and hand the microphone back to Matthew.
Thank you very much, Richard. Well done, Jasper. Excellent stuff. So before we wrap up, has anybody got any questions for Rob? Any final questions? We've got one at the back there.
Just a quick one. With what happened at Thruxton with the tyres and the decision that was made to shorten the amount of laps, what's your feeling on that? Do you think that was a good idea? Obviously, it was done for safety. But do you think the reason was due to temperatures, or it was that maybe drivers were driving a bit too recklessly that nipped the car down tyres?
Okay, the question is about Thruxton and the races that were shortened. It was obviously done for safety reasons, but was that down to drivers being irresponsible and clouting curbs, or was it purely down to, you know, the weather and the hot temperatures? And Rob, what's your opinion on that?
What do you think?
What do I think? I think it was a bit of both. But I agree with the decision to shorten the races. I know some of the spectators felt like they were shortchanged, but, you know, by doing that and eliminating the chance of an accident, and at Thruxton it's never going to be a small accident, it's going to be a big one. So I think you've got to take that to the front of the mind and make that the most important thing. We still did have 3 very good races anyway, so I think it was the correct choice.
I disagree because well, I know Aidan's tyre failure was due to contact. Matt was obviously carrying a huge amount of ballast and was driving like Matt Neal. And yeah, there was actually only one true tyre failure which couldn't be explained, and that was Matt Jackson's car, which obviously he's going to be getting a lot of wheel spin, isn't he? So I think it was wrong to shorten the races. I think Dunlop produce a great tyre, and I think they took a lot of heat unnecessarily for what was the drivers not looking after the tyres properly. I think at Thruxton it's part of the challenge. You know that if you go absolutely flat out on your setup and the way you drive it, you know your tyre won't last the race. You know you will have a puncture and you know you will DNF. And for some reason nobody seemed to respect that in race 1. And I don't think it was fair on Dunlop because they do so much for our championship. Certainly races 2 and 3 we were just starting to take chunks out of people as people's tyres wore out. You know, we were set up for the long distance, and we weren't going to have an issue. So it took, and obviously I'm sure all the BMW rear-wheel drive drivers would agree with me as well. You set up for, you either play the long game or you go hard early and just hang on as best you can at the end of the race.
Are you saying that racing drivers obey orders to be careful and slow down a little bit?
It's strategy, isn't it? It's how slow you can go without losing a position early on. And yeah, because you've got to make that tyre last a whole race. You can either go hard early and then struggle at the end, or you be sensible early on and you know it will come back to you and you play the long game. And yes, people do that. But there was a good chunk for some reason. Have you ever seen a race like that kick off at Thruxton in the first few laps? Normally if you see somebody driving like that in the first few laps at Thruxton, they DNF, and every so often there is one or two who goes, you know, appears at the front all of a sudden after being a hero, and then they get flat. And there just happened to be a few of them this time.
You're right though, I did feel very sorry for Dunlop, because you're right to point out what great supporters they are of the championship. You know, they've been the title sponsor for a long time now, and they've committed for another 5 years as well, so they deserve a lot of credit. Anybody got any last questions? Yes, sir.
Just finally, what are your predictions for where you're going to finish tomorrow?
What are your predictions for where you're going to finish tomorrow? In the bar at the end of the day?
I'm going back to the Dick's house and drinking a lot of beer, so that's where I'm going to finish. Yeah.
Here we go.
No, I don't know. It's Jesus. How do you predict the BTCC? It's so hard, isn't it? I predict progress. That's all I can do. Obviously now, again, we've got to aim for the reverse grid. We've got to try and play that game. So hopefully we can make enough progress in the first two. And we've been very close to that reverse grid 3 times now. So it'd be nice to finally get it.
Cool, I think that's it for everybody. So thank you very much for coming along. And I hope you all enjoy race day tomorrow. And good luck to Rob. Thanks, everyone.
Wish Matt a happy birthday. We took him out for dinner last night, and I would like to say that we got him good and drunk, but he did that all by himself. For starters, he had Jaeger bombs. For main, he had 2 pints, yeah, alongside his normal pint. And for dessert, you had another Jaeger bomb, didn't you? Just the 1 or 2? 6. Good. So, I'm impressed you're still standing. That's good. Anyway, round of applause for Matt for surviving this long.